What's up, guys? Welcome back to CCLP4. We're on Life is Not a Puzzle, the 123rd level of the set. And yeah, this level is a level. As mentioned in the last video, this is one of my levels, and for a while it was a level I was super proud of, and to some extent I still am proud of it, just based on the rooms themselves, which I'll explain as I go through them, like what the thought process was for each one. There are some people that aren't a big fan of this level, and I've kind of grown to agree with that, again in some extent, because I still like this level, but at the end of the day, this is probably a level I wish I didn't shoot for. I kind of wish I picked, or I kind of wish I fought for Rag Mountain over this level, because this level did pretty good, actually. I was honestly quite surprised with this level's overall rating. It was actually pretty close to Rag Mountain, so logically those two levels should have been the ones that should have been compared, but it kind of died off, so we ended up going with this level for one reason or another. I'm not 100% sure why. I think it was mostly my fault. I don't remember. But anyway, let's go ahead and play this level. So this level, or this first room, is obviously the fourth dimension inspired. This room was actually designed before the fourth dimension was. And because of that, it still uses the dirt. But the dirt has to be cleared. There's no way around it. So it wasn't too bad. Or it wasn't really worth fixing. This room is pretty good, I think. It has a little gimmick of not filling in that water space. Some people don't really like this block pushing section, but me personally, I try to put the block pushing segments, or the heavy block pushing segments, towards the start of the level instead of the end, because in some contexts it can be a bad way to end the level, and it could be a bad way to start a level. And I don't know, I personally think how the level finishes matters the most. And I got lucky with the collision there. Nice. Okay, so this room, thanks to its size, it's not that bad. There are some real walls in here, but I thankfully remember where they all are. Okay, so this room is divided in two, since it's a cloner's maze type section. Alright, so worth mentioning, that blue key, you used to be able to keep it all the way till the end of the level. And this room used to be something completely different. It used to be this really confusing teeth room with a strange mechanism that I decided to change because it made no sense with the level. So I just changed it to something ice related, since I didn't have ice or thieves represented much in this level. And then there's this room, which I don't care. This is probably my favorite room of the whole level. Because it has this block pushing or block guiding thing that is pretty clever, I feel. This is where the level starts getting a little overwhelming for some. So this is completely blind, and I do regret this, but I wasn't really fully aware of this when I designed it, because again, no one really paid much attention, and it was a different era which this level was designed. So you can see you don't need any, you can't have green keys upon entering this room, from this side that is. And you get the fire boots. So if you don't push the block up here, you're screwed, because you have this pop-up wall here. So it's kind of not obvious that you need the block up here, because you can't really see that it has a purpose up here, which is probably my biggest regret with this level has. And that pop-up wall, thankfully, is extra. I was at least nice enough to include that. So, and you can't even see that there's suction boots either. So again, probably my one thing about this level I kind of wish I didn't include, but it was designed in a different time. So designed in a time where no one really minded restarting a level. Nowadays, a lot of people seem to think that restarting a level is a bad thing. So the block ends up being used for there, which is intended. And this is the part of the level that a lot of people seem to complain about the most. So that blue key you cannot get right away. You need to get the yellow key first so you can get a block. And you have to use this block. Well, I guess it doesn't matter which one you use the block for. You have to use them for both. There's this blue lock trap that a lot of people think is unnecessary, which it is necessary, because if that blue lock wasn't there, this whole room would be pointless. So I had a point with this room, and the point with the room was exactly what it is, but a lot of people don't like it, which is unfortunate. And then there's this room, which is easily the room I wanted to change the most, but I felt like it would have changed level too much. Use these symbols as indicators to know what trap is and isn't open. The button above is connected to the block cloner. So you can have the one by the walker, blob, and teeth open, which is these ones, and then you just hit the toggles to get the paramecia one open, and then all your traps are done. So then you just get the suction boots, go back to the start, and exit. So life is not a puzzle. Overall, I do think it was worthy of including in this set. However, I really wish I picked Rag Mountain instead of this one, because Rag Mountain did better. I know I keep talking about that level, but that was the highest rated level that didn't make it into the set. And in terms of gameplay, both this level and Rag Mountain, they play kind of similarly in that they're both linear, they both have an order, blah blah blah, and they don't have really set concepts. Like there's no one particular concept in mind with this level, nor in Rag Mountain. They're just campaign levels. And this one was like 25th, I think, or 20 something. I don't remember the exact rating again, but Rag Mountain did better than this. I know that for a fact. And I do wish Rag Mountain made it instead of this level, but a lot of people, or not a lot, but some people still like this level a lot, so it's kind of a thing I'm kind of torn about. But at the end of the day, this level did get into CCLP4, and because of that, I do like that it's in the set. I think this level does have some good stuff in it, and there are a lot of the rooms I am proud of with this level. I just wish I handled that upper right corner, the far right middle room and the upper right room are the two rooms I wish I kind of connected better, so to say. Kind of make it less non-obvious, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it. But I didn't want to change this level up too much into compared to what was in the voting. It didn't really change much, but it is what it is. So glad it's in the set. I'm glad some people liked it, but I do sometimes wish Rag Mountain was in the set instead of this level, but oh well. Sorry, I have to drink some milk, because every time I record now, I mean every time, my throat just gets dry. I don't know what it is. I don't feel like I'm talking that much, and I talk just as much as I do in real life in these videos, so really I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just the atmosphere in my room that's been changing or something, or the air quality, or I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, air bubble. Collect all the chips in this air bubble before chip runs out of air. So this level I played before in some Ultimate Chip set, because it's one of Jeffrey's levels, and it's a strict time limit blue wall maze level. Two of my favorite things ever, so to say. And this actually has some pretty good dead ends. Okay, so that's a dead end. So I need to go... Oh, that's a dead end too. So yeah, this level actually kind of... It wasn't like a last minute pick. This actually got picked fairly soon in voting. It did get compared to other strict time limit levels, such as Puzzle Solver, Puzzle Solver on a tight budget, and I think there was one other level it was compared to in terms of strict time limits, but I don't remember. But I do know Puzzle Solver on a tight budget was one of them, because both Jeffrey and I really liked that level. But at the end of the day, there was some kind of lack of blue wall mazes in this set. I mean, there's Polygon, there's this level. I want to say there's at least one more in this set. I don't know. I feel like any set of 149 levels should have at least a decent number of blue wall levels. Not just because I like them, but I think it should have at least 3 or 4 minimum. But this did pretty well in voting, or well, I would like to think it did, but it actually didn't do as well as I had hoped it did. But blue walls and strict time limits usually aren't something that mix well together, but this level did a pretty good job with it, and it's not really seen that much. I mean, I think there was How It Goes in CCLP4 that did it, but that was more oddly designed, in my opinion. And this one just does it better, so I'm happy this level's in the set. Beautiful Struggle. Yay, another long ass level. I can't help it. I like making levels that take up the whole map. I don't know why, but I just do. Especially campaign levels. I like making levels that look colorful. Don't question me. Don't criticize me for that. It's just my design preference, I guess you can say. So, like Triple Mint Slurpee, Beautiful Struggle is another level title that Eddie Lim suggested me to use, and I used it for this level. Now, one of the unique things about this level is that I used the walls of Well of Wishes from CCLP4 as my quote-unquote template. It's not exactly a walls of level, because there are quite a few different wall formations in this level, but for the most part there are some similarities with Well of Wishes. And the whole level was just designed in the order it's played is the order I designed it in. Not a lot of people really hate this level. They more or less hate the fact that it's a long Josh level. But I think it's a good level. A lot of people seem to think it's a good level as well. A lot of people have said, or not, I keep saying a lot, but it's mainly like one or two people that have kind of said that that blue wall under the block is kind of unfair and guessworky. I don't know or see how. Because here, I'm actually going to restart the level. I don't usually do this, but I want to clarify something about that part. And because when I heard about that legitimately did piss me off. Because that part is in no way, in shape or form, guesswork of any kind. I don't know how it can even be considered guesswork. And I know I'm the designer of it, but I mean, come on. When it comes to stuff like that, that's just logic. It just requires common sense. So, that pop-up wall right there. So you already have the red key, so you already know you have to use the red key to get up to the flippers. And you can clearly see just by logic that you can't get the flippers without blocking the ball off. Like, you have to block this ball off somehow. And knowing that you're on a pop-up wall, pushing the block without anything under it would trap you. Just because you'd be stuck in this square. And the ball would be trapped either up here or up here. And pushing it would kill you. So, what is the only other logical way this could work? A blue wall under the block. There is no other way that could be done, or that could still be possible. So, when I heard that that part is guessworky, I was just surprised. Like, I don't know how that can even be considered guesswork. I think at that point that's just finding something to hate on the level. And I'm sorry, but people like that, if you actually have to look for something to hate about a level or complain about in a level, I don't know why you even play the game to start with. I think a lot of good things go unappreciated in level design these days than appreciated. Like, and I've noticed that even with CC2 design, and that's still kind of new. Oh, come on, this random force is not that bad. Like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of things that people design these days, like, a lot of level designers or even players as a whole, just they have this expectation with level quality, and if that said level quality doesn't get met to their likable standards, they just find something to dislike about the level, or they just say, oh, it's a level, or it's eh. And I don't know why that is. I really don't. And even this part, I at one point thought myself this was trial and error or guesswork of some kind, but you can do this part first and still beat the level, which I think is really cool. I didn't even intend on that. By intend, I mean I didn't know you can do that. But I'm happy it's like that. So, I don't know, I'm probably complaining about something that wasn't even said, but I mean, let's be honest. A lot of players are like that these days. A lot of good designs get undermined just by one type of level quality that people don't like or appreciate. And I don't know, that type of stuff just gets on my nerves pretty easily. I mean, not all levels have to be liked. And that's what makes Chip's Challenge a good game. You don't have to like every single level you play. You don't have to like every single level in this set. But I don't think a level should be deemed, you know, unenjoyable just because it doesn't meet up to one specific type of standard one personally wants to have. And for the record, those 2 pink balls, or that pink ball on the trap, used to be a glider, which was a lot more mean. Just for the record. It's one thing to have your own preference in level design or level genre, but I don't think a level that doesn't have that, I'm gonna hit that tank button again to read that hint. Just because a level doesn't have that, doesn't meet up to that criteria that you want to experience, it doesn't mean it's a bad level. Hey, have you found all 4 of the other secret hints yet? So yeah, I guess that's a little rant I didn't mean to get into, but I don't know. I heard that blue wall thing was mentioned by someone. I don't remember by who, but someone told me, or I found out in some way that it was complained about, and I think I want to say it was Marcus who, when he played this level in his LP, that he said that he complained about that blue wall thing. I think some people even complained about the fire boot part in the lower left, and that's one of the best parts of this whole level. So if that part's being complained about, I mean, that's just killing the whole experience for your own self. So, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to get into that little ramble. That's just that's been on my mind for a while, and I just kind of played it off as just something that I just have to let go. And for the most part, I try to, but it still just irks me sometimes. Like, just appreciate whatever people make, you know? It doesn't have to meet up, it doesn't have to be the best designed level ever, and I mean, we all have flaws, we all make mistakes in level design, it's normal. If you expect absolute perfection or the best puzzle level ever, and you don't get that level, that's just setting yourself up for disappointment and failure. And what fun is that? I mean, let's be real here. So that was Beautiful Struggle, and the hint used to say a beautiful struggle indeed. And that hint would have stayed had I want to say it was Tyler that wanted to change it to something that related to the secret hints, since in this point in the game, all 4 secret hints are out in the open. So, and not all of them can be found easily. So, yeah. Anyway, Bindminder. So this level, yeah, this is going to be a really interesting ramble. So this level was one of the highest rated levels for the entire set in voting. I think this was like 6th or 7th place. It did pretty well, a lot better than I thought it would, and to be honest, kind of hoped it did, but can't beat the system. So this level was obviously determined to be in the set. So I let bygones be bygones and just kind of accepted it. And for the most part, I have. But this level was one of the levels I gave a 1 to in voting, because initially I couldn't stand this level. For one reason or another, I don't remember. It was well over a year ago, 2 years ago almost now, since submissions for CCLP4 opened up. But for one reason or another, I just didn't like this level. I didn't see the appeal with this level. I didn't see the enjoyability of this level. I just didn't like it. And that thought unfortunately stayed in voting. However, since voting and the beta set testing and whatnot for the various betas we assembled for CCLP4 before it became finalized, this level has warmed up to me, and because of that, I do somewhat regret giving this level a 1. It's still not 5 worthy for me. It's not even 4 worthy. I think now I wish I gave it like a 3, if anything, but it's still not one of my favorite levels. It's definitely a good puzzle, and whatnot, so I can't really hate it, but enough about that thought. Let's talk about something else that's more stupid. So this level it was probably the only level of every level of the set. This is probably the level that went through the most changes because of what the designer wanted for this level. It's the designer's only level in this whole set, and I'm sorry if you're watching this. It's all water under the bridge now, so anything I say from here is not meant to be taken personally. But I believe the designer of this level was being overly unnecessarily picky with this level. It got to the point where it got so bad we almost consider not even including this level in the set because it was just becoming too much nonsense for the staff. That's how bad it was getting. It mainly came down to that random forceful right there. Like, we initially didn't want it in the level mainly for the Lynx players, and this was by Mika Tokola. So we felt the random force source shouldn't be included, mainly for Lynx players, because quite a few of the staff members argued that it required some knowledge of how random force fours work in the Lynx rule set, and it could be unfair if you don't get the override. That was the main reason. However, it was argued to be kept in and taken out, and then there's the whole matter of the palette on the very top of the level that isn't necessary because this level's design was designed for a crate competition, the same one that Nectar Meadow was in, and the same palette as Nectar Meadow to top it off, that just it didn't need the palette, so we debated on including it. We wanted to get rid of it because it basically encouraged editor use, and there was also a hint up there that had that said "Do you see me?" and you can only read it in the editor. We wanted to have a CCLP4 not have any hints like that required using an editor to read it, but Mika clearly disagreed with that. He disagreed with excluding the palette, disagreed with removing the random force floor. So because of all this disagreement, we had to basically fight and argue with him to come to some kind of agreement to have this level be in the set. Because, like I said, it did get to a point where we almost excluded it from being considered because of how much disagreement there was between the staff and him. So at the end of the day, I'm happy with what this level has. I still wish the palette wasn't in the level and everything. I think even the password was changed. Yeah, the password was changed. I think Mika wanted us to change the password to something he wanted. I'm not sure what that means, or what the password itself means. I don't think it means anything, but we assumed it meant nothing, so we kept it. We abided by what he wanted. But at the end of the day, the level's in the set. It's a good level. It's fun to play. The whole gameplay isn't changed that much. I just think all the disagreements and all the arguments with this level, I don't think they were necessary. And it got to the point where it was just way too overwhelming. And that's mainly why I myself didn't partake in any of these arguments. It was mainly the rest of the staff. I stayed out of it because I knew if I got into it, it would have gotten personal. And that's a flaw of mine, I'm willing to admit I have. And I didn't want any personal conflict between Mika and myself. So at the end of the day, bygones are bygones are bygones. It's water under the bridge. Everything's fine now. There's no hard feelings, and anything I just said was just staff history, staff chat history. It's nothing to be taken personally. It's just talk at this point. It's just something to laugh about, hopefully. Just to give all the viewers an idea on how, on some of the crap that we had to go through. This was probably one of the biggest points of the set's construction, that we had a lot of bullshit to deal with. So at the end of the day, Bindminder is a good level. Josh likes it. Alright, wrong exit. So this level was kind of a late inclusion for the set. It was, I want to say it was my idea to include it, because we didn't really have a level that kind of had this type of concept. I mean, we've seen levels with this concept before, but I felt like CCLP4 needed something like it. I need to represent finding the right exit in some fashion. And even though this level's linear, it does pretty good. There was a bust in the Lynx rule set that you can actually get to that exit underneath that tank, and we tried to fix it in other ways, but the only fix we could really come up with is just simply putting a thin wall under it. I think we considered keeping in that bust for the Lynx players, but we decided we wanted the level to play equally in both rule sets. But pretty much this is just a breather level. It's another short level, or short-ish level, in comparison to something like Life Is Not a Puzzle and Beautiful Struggle. Is definitely shorter in comparison to those two, because the next couple levels are pretty long, and because of that I'm ending the video right now. So this was Marcus's last level of the set, and the 2:25 is the bowl time. I actually confirmed this bowl time because I think JB wanted me to, or Tyler wanted me to, one of the two did, and I went ahead and did it. It actually was pretty easy thanks to that glider setup. So all that being said, anything I have said in this video about the Beautiful Struggle thing, or the level design thing, or the Bindminder story, or whatever, they're just stories. I don't mean it in any personal way or anything like that. It's not meant to be taken personally. It's just commentary at this point. The Beautiful Struggle thing, though, I do feel that shouldn't be a thing. I think both level designers and players should kind of come to some kind of consensus or whatever, to just let level designers do what they want to do. I mean, level designers are different, so you know, it is what it is. But everything else was just commentary. So if anything I said offended you, welcome to 2017, the era of being offended. So, that being said, we're ending it right here on Mindless Self-Indulgence. This level is pretty long, so we'll play it next time. See you guys later.